Imagine a world where AI stops improving, not because of algorithms, not because of computing power, but because of memory chips. Right now, the tech industry is facing what analysts are calling a crisis like no other. The explosion of artificial intelligence is creating a massive shortage of memory chips, and it could affect everything from AI development to the price of your next laptop or phone. So today we're going to break down why memory chips are suddenly the most valuable component in AI, why only 3 companies in the world can make AI chips, and why this shortage could slow the entire AI revolution. Let's dive in. AI demand is exploding. Big tech companies are expected to spend $650 billion on AI infrastructure in 2026. That's an 80% increase from last year's record spend. The companies leading the pack are Apple, Google, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. They're all racing to build massive AI data centers. But there's a problem. All those servers need massive amounts of memory, and the world simply doesn't have it. Industry analysts say relief from the shortage could be more than a year away, possibly longer. Google's DeepMind CEO, Demis Hassabis, even called memory chips a choke point for the AI industry. And during a recent earnings call, Elon Musk suggested Tesla might even have to build its own memory chips to avoid the bottleneck. To understand the crisis, we need to understand what memory actually does. A computer has 2 main parts: the CPU, which is processing information, and the memory, which stores the data the CPU needs. So think of it like a shopping mall. The mall itself is the CPU where all the activity happens, and the parking lot is just memory. It's where the data waits until it's needed, right? So without memory, everything slows down. Apps take forever to load, videos constantly buffer, and AI assistants like Siri or Alexa simply won't work. For decades, computers have relied on 2 types of memory chips: the NAND flash, which is basically used for long-term storage. So examples are the SSD drives, like the solid-state drives, USB drives, smartphone storage, things like that. And even when your device is turned off, the NAND still remembers your data. The second is DRAM. So DRAM is for working memory. So it temporarily stores the data the CPU is actively using. In your laptop, your desktop, DRAM usually sits on removable modules connected to the motherboard. But for AI systems, traditional memory isn't fast enough. Artificial intelligence requires an entirely new type of memory called HBM, high bandwidth memory. HBM dramatically increases speed by stacking memory chips vertically. So instead of the flat parking lot, HBM is like a multi-story parking garage with dozens of ramps. So data can move in and out simultaneously. This architecture uses microscopic channels called through silicon vias, which allow data to travel directly between layers. Now, the speed difference is massive. It's transferring 1 terabyte of data using standard DDR5 memory can take over 10 seconds. But with modern HBM chips, it's roughly 10 times faster. So that speed is essential for AI models that need to move huge amounts of data constantly, which is why HBM has become one of the most valuable components in the entire AI supply chain. Here's where things get really interesting. So the global memory chip industry is dominated by just 3 companies: Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. These companies control the vast majority of advanced memory production, and manufacturing HBM chips is incredibly difficult. The process involves stacking silicon layers thinner than a human hair with microscopic precision. Thousands of tiny channels must be drilled into the silicon, and then those channels are filled with copper to carry data and electricity. And then finally, the layers are bonded together using solder droplets only 10 microns wide. One Microsoft defect can ruin the entire chip stack, which means production's slow, it's expensive, and it's hard to scale. So because AI companies are desperate for memory chips, they're paying premium prices and signing long-term supply contracts. Memory manufacturers are now prioritizing HBM production for AI. That means less supply for traditional devices like laptops, smartphones, and gaming consoles. So what happens? Prices are rising everywhere. Memory now accounts for about 35% of the cost of building a laptop, up from around just 15 to 18% just months ago. So PC makers like HP and Dell have already started raising prices. Smartphones could get 15% more expensive. Gaming consoles could see delays or price increases. And analysts predict the global smartphone market could shrink nearly 13% in 2026. You might be wondering, why don't companies just build more chip factories? So the answer is really just time and money, right? A new semiconductor facility costs billions of dollars. It can take years to build. Even when factories are completed, ramping up production takes time. And chip makers are cautious. Just a few years ago, companies like Micron and SK Hynix lost billions after overproducing during the pandemic tech boom. They don't want to repeat that mistake, so expansion is happening, it's just slow and carefully. So the big question now is whether AI demand is temporary or if it represents a permanent shift in computing. If AI continues to grow at its current pace, memory demand could stay elevated for the next decade. And that means more investment in chip manufacturing, higher profits for memory companies, and potentially more expensive electronics for consumers. So for now, the winners are companies building AI infrastructure, but everyone else, from smartphone makers to gaming companies, is fighting over what's left. The AI revolution isn't just about software, it's about infrastructure. And right now, one of the smallest components in the tech stack, memory chips, is becoming one of the biggest bottlenecks in the future of artificial intelligence. So if the industry can solve the memory shortage, AI could accelerate even faster. If not, the next generation of AI breakthroughs might have to wait in the parking lot. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the AI economy and the technology shaping our future, make sure to like and subscribe to Daily News. Let me know in the comments, do you think AI demand will keep growing, or are we headed for another tech bubble? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.